Coming up on What's New, a much-needed beacon of hope. Leaders say what we're doing is working, and they have an updated estimate on when they say the coronavirus will peak here in Ohio. Jay?
Betsy, the number of people filing for unemployment claims is actually overwhelming the system. We're going to tell you what the state is doing to make sure everyone that needs it can get it. Also, hear from a local woman what battling the coronavirus is really like.
And we are all trying to still eat healthy while making our food last as long as possible. One chef shares her ways with Doug Tratner to try and help. What's New starts now.
And now, live from WKYC Studios, this is What's New.
Happy Friday Eve, everybody, and welcome to What's New. I'm Betsy Kling, and my co-host Jay Crawford is joining us from home once again. It's part of our effort here at 3 News to social distance during this coronavirus pandemic. And we're standing by to get an update from President Trump, by the way. But in the meantime, Jay gets us caught up with the latest coronavirus news. Hi, Jay.
Hi, Betsy. How are you? Good afternoon. Good afternoon to everyone at home. 867, Betsy. That is the new number of positive cases for the coronavirus in Ohio. That number was 704 yesterday, so that's an increase of over 150 positive cases. Also, Dr. Amy Acton today during the governor's news conference from the Ohio Department of Health shared some hope this afternoon. She said staying home and shutting down businesses is working.
The moves you're making are making our supplies go longer. The big one we're looking at are those N95 respirators. Those are the specialized masks for hospital personnel, not the surgical ones or the ones we might even make at home to not spread infection. But it is those specialized masks. We know even with the efforts we're making, we're gonna need millions more. But we would have needed 65 times as many as our typical usage. We've lowered that down to 40 times as much.
Certainly positive news. She also said it's her belief that the coronavirus could peak mid-April or early May. Meanwhile, the White House sent a letter to governors today. President Trump says that his administration is revisiting social distancing guidelines and working to classify counties as either high, medium, or low risk. Now, as expected, employment claims, both here in Ohio and nationally, skyrocketed over the last week. In fact, is having such a hard time processing all of the calls, it's causing a lot of frustration on the consumer end. We thought we would ask our Danielle Serino, investigative consumer reporter, into this and see what the
the Ohio Department of Job and Family Services reported nearly 188,000 jobless claims last week, and to put it in perspective, the week before it was only 7,000. But those numbers are probably much higher because so many people are saying they can't get through on the phones, and when they try to log on the computer, they keep getting bumped off.
And this has been going on for nearly 2 weeks. Earlier in the week, during the governor's daily news conference, Lieutenant Governor John Husted asked for patience, reminding people that they've never seen anything like this and that the system was not designed to handle this volume of claims. But that's tough to take for people counting on that cash.
I tried time and time again, and sometimes I could get just one step further along, and then it eventually got to the point where I couldn't go past the same spot, and I ended up even kind of kicking myself out because I tried too many times.
So what is the state doing? Well, it now says it has hundreds of employees answering at the call centers, and it's moved other employees into that area from other departments to help answer people's questions. It's also extending call center hours from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. during the week and from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. on Saturdays. And hopefully that will make somewhat of a difference because there are so many people that are in need right now, and they can't even apply for other benefits until this is handled. Reporting from Cleveland, Danielle Serino, 3 News.
Well, it was a record 3.3 million people who filed for unemployment last week alone. That is the biggest jump in U.S. history. Just to give you some context, the old record was 695,000. That's a big difference. Some economists say 40 million Americans could be out of work by April. But there is some other news that's going in the other direction because that stimulus package is making its way through Congress. Mark Namick explains what to expect and how soon.
Relief. It's almost on the way as Congress took another step towards putting cash in the hands of many Americans to help them survive the crushing economic blow triggered by the coronavirus, and felt first here and around the country by workers at shuttered bars and restaurants.
On this vote, the yeas are 96, the nays are 0.
With the U.S. House expected to approve a $2 trillion stimulus package by week's end, the government hopes to begin sending checks or direct deposits on April 6th. The government's track record with stimulus checks, however, suggests the money could take several weeks or longer to show up. So who should be waiting by the mailbox? If you make less than $75,000 a year, you'll get a $1,200 check and an additional $500 for each child. Those earning between $75,000 and $100,000 annually will get less, as will households making more than $198,000. High-income earners will be shut out. You don't have to call or file any paperwork to get the money. If you filed taxes in the past couple of years or already received federal benefits like Social Security or disability, the government knows how to reach you. The checks are not a loan, so Americans don't have to repay the money. Technically, the money is in advance on your 2020 tax return, and the details of how this could affect your future returns is still being worked out. And there's a little more good news for laid-off workers. The new stimulus package kicks in an additional $600 a week towards unemployment claims. And given the stunning number of new claims, this is going to help a lot of Americans. Mark Namick, 3 News.
Well, this stimulus package is definitely a major focus because it boosted the confidence of investors today. The Dow rallied more than 1,300 points, capping its biggest 3-day surge since 1931. Both the S&P and NASDAQ saw big gains, too. Well, what we're seeing right now, unfortunately, is only the beginning. That's what Dr. Amy Acton kept telling us today. Local and national folks are watching what's happening in other states and bracing for more demand on resources and, unfortunately, more patients. Cleveland realtor Carol Joyner is sharing her story as she recovers from her hospital room at Cleveland Clinic Marymount. The 60-year-old says that a day after being diagnosed with COVID-19, her symptoms became so severe she had to be admitted. The vibrant mother and grandmother says at one point she had trouble breathing, she had pneumonia, and a fever.
I thought I was being as careful as I could. I was just in and out of grocery stores. I don't know how I got it.
Well, coming up at 6, we'll let you know how Carol is doing now and the message that she has for all of us. Jay?
Betsy, beginning today, all daycare centers that have not received a temporary pandemic child care license are required to shut down. This is per the governor's orders. Some parents tell 3 News investigates that daycares and the ones they are going to have closed, but they're still being required to pay all or some of their tuition. Others are being told they'll have to pay $100 each week until the daycare reopens. That to reserve their spot in that daycare. Parents are telling us that's just not fair.
My plan is to just wait until the end and see how long this goes for, and then try to work with the same daycare because we do like the teachers there, we like the facility, and I mean that's the routine that we have our daughter in. But I mean, if it takes 8 weeks and then they want us to pay $800, like we'll just find a new daycare somewhere else.
Whoa.
3 News Investigates looks into this, and they find there are no real rules when it comes to private daycare centers. So really, each owner is allowed to make his or her own rules. Betsy?
All right, thank you so much, Jay. And I'll tell you what, as Russ Mitchell joins us now from over at the news desk, just saw a tweet coming out from the New York Times. They're saying that now, according to their data, the U.S. now has the most coronavirus cases in the world with over 81,000. So this just continues to expand right now. And New York has been a big part of that kind of ground zero here in the U.S.
Yeah, exactly, Betsy. Thank you. And that's where we begin today. New York has reached a stark milestone, 100 deaths from the coronavirus in one day. Governor Andrew Cuomo said that raises the statewide number to 385 and counting. As Betsy just pointed out, New York City in particular has become the epicenter of the virus. The Ohio High School Athletic Association has canceled winter sports tournaments in boys and girls basketball, ice hockey, and wrestling. They are holding off on a decision on spring sports, which are delayed for 3 weeks. And a company with a plant here just received final approval by the FDA to begin making an antibacterial drug. Gilead Pharmaceuticals will soon produce a treatment considered the gold standard against superbugs like MRSA. The company is looking to hire about 60 new employees at its Bedford plant to help with the project. And of course, as you said, Betsy, you're waiting for President Trump to make his debut at the briefing in any moment now. We'll bring that to folks live.
We definitely will. We're keeping an eye on that. Thanks so much, Russ. Jay?
Well, Betsy, this is a sweet because March 26th, it's the day all of us had circled on our calendars. It's the day the Indians were supposed to open their season. Many of us said, wow, March 26th, we're going to have terrible weather. Well, I guess that wasn't the case. Beautiful day. We all miss baseball. We all miss sports. This was supposed to be the height of March Madness and the NBA season gearing towards the playoffs. All of that on hold now, and here is just one example of why this had to be done. Scientists are looking at a game, a soccer game, that was played on February 19th. This game was played in Italy. It was a huge European Champions League soccer match. Italy was hosting a team from Spain. There were 40,000 fans in attendance for that game. This video is not video of that game because obviously there were 40,000 fans in the game we're talking about. This was a couple of days before the first case of coronavirus popped up in Italy. Within a week of this game, a third of the Spanish team members had tested positive. Within a month, 7,000 people near where that game was played in Italy had tested positive. 1,000 people were dead. 2,500 of the 40,000 fans that were at that game were from Valencia, Spain. They then traveled back to Spain, and that then became the epicenter of Spanish's coronavirus fight. 80,000 positive cases in Italy. That led to more than 8,200 deaths. And then in Spain, that is the second most country experiencing the second most deaths outside of China. And all of this is basically being looked at by scientists as a biological bomb, Betsy. They think that this is the game where the virus most rapidly spread through Italy and then on to Spain. We hate that the sporting events have to be canceled, but just imagine if March Madness had been played and Major League Baseball and NBA games had gone on, what things would look like here in the United States.
It's a scary thought, certainly, and Louisiana and New Orleans specifically is bracing for a major outbreak here in the next couple of weeks simply because of Mardi Gras, which was not called off. So we just kind of have to stay your distance and try and stay away from other people as much as we can. Thanks so much, Jay. Well, this is a really good time to bring in some messages of hope. And our Monica Robbins found these messages written in chalk on her walk in Bay Village this morning, socially distanced, of course. One message read, "Be happy and be hopeful." Nothing like little kids writing some of these messages, isn't it? As old people, we kind of, take it for granted, but these little ones are really doing their part. Another message said something like, "You're thankful that you're here." Write something that you are thankful for right here. Look at the lines. There's a lot to be thankful for, everybody. Now, if you come across something like this or you want to nominate a 3 hero, somebody who's going above and beyond, text the word heroes. Again, that's the text, the word heroes, to 216-344-3300 or tweet us by using the hashtag. Remember, it doesn't have to be anything grand. Sometimes it's the small gestures that make a big impact. Well, talking about a small gesture that makes a big impact, the First Lady of Ohio, baking with Fran. Next, we try one of Fran DeWine's recipes and find out how it came out. The clicking in Cleveland thing is also a big deal today. A lot of folks have been online, and Stephanie's been keeping an eye on that.
Betsy, creativity is high right now, and that includes interesting ways to celebrate your birthday. We'll share a few fun ideas with you coming up. Now let's check in with Matt Wins at his house to get a preview of our weather forecast. Matt, how's it looking out there?
Well, thanks a lot, Stephanie. Another beautiful day outside, but the clouds are building in here this afternoon. That's going to lead to a pretty rainy set of days. We'll detail it all coming up in your forecast.
Welcome back to What's New. People we know have been coming together in a number of ways. And when you think about it, a lot of folks are sheltered at home. And the gathering place for many homes is the kitchen. And Amanda Abraham was listening to the governor's news conference and heard Fran DeWine give out one of her favorite recipes. So she thought she would put that recipe to the test.
Fran DeWine isn't alone in sharing her recipes. After all, over the past few weeks, we've been spending a lot of time at home. So why not explore in the kitchen? I decided to try Fran DeWine's brownie recipe. First things first, grab all of your ingredients. Use a bowl to mix a 1/3 cup of oil or melted butter, 4 tablespoons of cocoa powder, 2/3 cup of sugar, a teaspoon of vanilla, and 2 eggs. You mix it all up and then add 2/3 cup of flour and a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Once it's all combined, put it into a greased pan. In this case, make sure it's microwave safe. Put it in for 2 minutes, turn, and then microwave for another 2 minutes. And there you have it, a quick way to make brownies for the family. I gotta say, for 4 minutes in the microwave, these brownies turned out pretty good. Now, if you like your brownies a little gooey, I would suggest taking them out a little earlier, but this is your chance to explore and experiment in the kitchen. We've got this recipe and so much more on WKYC.com. I'm Annie Abraham, 3 News.
All right, Amanda, thank you very much. I have to say, the mud pies that Matt Wentz's kids made for me yesterday probably look just as good as those brownies, Matt. I'm just saying, pretty close.
Yep. Jay, I'm surprised you didn't call in sick to work today. I was expecting you to be off and Betsy to be solo, but I'm glad you made it through the mud pies that the kids made. What a great day to be outside today.
I had
we brought
to do.
the pool out.
Matt,
we filled it
I'm
with
sorry.
some warm water, so the kids.
I hate to interrupt you.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
I got to give you your weather word today. It was supposed to be the Indians' home opener. We know
That's
that,
right.
And we ended up getting great weather. So fit a home run into your weather forecast. Carry on.
Got it. Oh, so easy, Jay. I'm glad you used that word. Absolutely. All right. So we're out and about. I know it was another day where everyone got out to area parks and stuff like that. But one of the things when we have nice days like this is also the extended daylight. We're gaining about 3 minutes per day of daylight. So these are your sunset times the next 4 Thursdays. We're at 7:46 tonight, 7:53 next week, and then we're already in the 8 o'clock hour 2 weeks from now. So we are just looking at all positive things, at least from the climate side of things here at Channel 3. So temperatures today, wow, we made it well up into the 60s today. I mentioned yesterday we'd have that late day lake breeze, and we certainly have had it. Temperatures have dropped into the 50s near the lakeshore, but we're still balmy pretty much everywhere. A gorgeous afternoon, but the clouds are starting to fill in. That is a precursor of things to come. You can see some of the heavier, thicker clouds now off to the west, and that is being accompanied with some rain showers. They've had some gusty hail-producing thunderstorms in areas of Indiana. Most of that will slide down to the south, but we will see rain eventually overspread northeast Ohio as we go throughout the evening. And the rain train is on. We've got a plume of moisture out of the Pacific Ocean, and that will connect with a weather system and a boundary, and that will set waves of rainfall through our area over the next several days. Tonight, we've got a pretty rainy night ahead. All that activity in Indiana is going to overspread the area. Can't rule out a rumble of thunder. I think we're lacking the instability right now for that, so just a pretty soggy night, and that will really start around the 9 or 10 o'clock hour. And that will lead to tomorrow's forecast. I think most of the rain clears the area. Should have a pretty nice day tomorrow. It will be cooler than today, though. I think clouds will linger throughout your Friday, but overall, not a lot of rain to speak of. So let's take you hour by hour through that National Design Mart forecast. There's that rain heading through the area tonight. If we would have got the game in today, it would have been an absolute home run. But thankfully, that rain's going to hold off till later in the day and then the nighttime hours. That's right. Then you can see tomorrow morning we're waking up pretty dry conditions. It will be cooler tomorrow with the wind off the lake. And then watch this. As we get into Friday night and Saturday, look at these waves of rainfall and thunderstorms along a warm front that pushed through, heavy rain, and then it's off to the races Saturday afternoon and evening in terms of your temperatures. Universal Windows Direct 7-day forecast. Speaking of temperatures on the uptick, I think Saturday we approach 70 degrees late in the day as that warm front swings through. Sunday will be our transition day with some early storms and then a drier afternoon, and then next week more seasonable with temps near 50 degrees and fairly dry conditions. So enjoy this while it lasts. Get out for a walk here this evening before the rain arrives, or even get in the pool. How's the pool going, guys?
Good.
Good. Is it nice and warm?
Yeah, but this draft needs to settle down.
The draft needs to settle down, Jay. Please help.
Come on, Matt. Do some parenting over there.
It's tough. It's tough. The struggle's real.
The struggle is real. Thank you, Matt. Very well done. Coming up on What's New, another helping hand, this one for Fido. See what One Doggy Daycare is doing to help our healthcare workers have one less worry. What's New? Coming right back.
All right, you said it, we listened, and now we bring you Clicking in Cleveland with Harry Winston. There he is. Aww.
Hello,
Not to upstage you,
Betsy.
Stephanie, of course,
Winston,
but
say hi.
let's face it, we really actually would love to see the dog more. It's all good.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's been that way my whole life, I get it. This first story actually comes to you directly from Harry Winston. His doggy daycare, Canine Cleveland in the Flats, is offering half off to medical care workers who are fighting the coronavirus right now. One of those clients, Dr. Amanda Mook, told us this.
A lot of us physicians don't worry about ourselves being infected particularly, but we're very terrified of it we inadvertently being asymptomatic, even passing it on to somebody more vulnerable, whether that be somebody we're taking care of at home or one of our other patients and such. It just weighs on you, even just that stress is kind of constant. Oakley runs around at daycare and gets all tired out. It's nice to just come home and he's relaxed and just cuddle on him and sort of forget about the day for a little bit.
The owner, Dr. Deidre Galharda, she told me that she is happy to do this. She just wants to do whatever she can to take this stress away. So really cool thing they're doing over there at Canine Cleveland. So not all of us, though, are going to work. Most of us need to stay at home, but time does not stop. People are still celebrating their birthdays, and they're getting pretty creative about it. So here's a couple fun ways that people are doing that. This first one here, this might be a little bittersweet to see, but this is what we got to do right now. Krista Herzing's parents brought her presents and cupcakes, but kept their distance. We can all hug later, Krista. Thanks for sharing that one. This next one, you'll see this meme from Michael Scott from The Office where he hangs out at that playground by himself after his coworkers roast him. Well, Baldwin Wallace student Veronica Odom made her own version. She even tagged it Lonely Town, USA. And then we have Rachel Araz, who must be doing pretty well for herself because look at that birthday cake she made for herself out of all of that toilet paper. I have to say though, I'm a little bit concerned about it being a fire hazard. And of course, if you are celebrating your birthday right now, there is always the virtual group chat, virtual happy hour. That's what our digital director Denise will be doing for her birthday tomorrow. I'm sure there will be lots of quarantinis there, which Betsy, by the way, has already made its way into the Urban Dictionary. If you didn't know, a quarantini is made with vodka, whiskey, or Everclear. Ooh. Have you had one of those yet?
No, but I guarantee you that will clear any kind of virus out of your system, at least your digestive tract, rather quickly. Ugh. All right. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. We do appreciate it. Always good to hear what folks are wondering about. Well, answering your questions, Monica Robbins is asking an expert the things you want to know about COVID-19 and the human spirit. A doctor on the front lines of fighting the virus takes time to spread cheer one note at a time. And Jay and Mike's virtual mandate. You're not going to see this anywhere else, people. It's all coming up in the next half hour as we are keeping an eye out for the president as well.